G'day and welcome to Down Under Sports, where we talk all things sports related, just down under. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Spreezy, and I'm joined with
Stelios. Thanks for having me again, Chris.
Always a pleasure to have you, mate.
Can't believe we're already almost 1 month into the NBA season.
Time flies, and before you know it, it'll be May, the playoffs, and the NBA finals in June.
I know, it goes too quick.
Yep.
So it's only fitting then, after 1 month, that we'll just give a bit of a spiel, a bit of a recap as to how things are looking so far. So we'll start things off with, who do you think the best team in the NBA is right now?
Right now, I would have to say the Lakers. 10-2 record. LeBron's playing like a king again. Davis is missing a few games of it. He's putting up monster numbers. Kuzma, Green, I think they're gelling well. They've got great chemistry so early in the season. And my pick for the best team right now is the Lakers.
It's very tough to go against that, but I'm going to go against that.
Typical.
I'm gonna say the Clippers, even though they haven't started the year on the best foot. They started off really well in the win against the Lakers,
Yeah.
but I still think that they're still finding their way.
Yeah.
Kawhi's missing back-to-backs. Paul George just reintegrating back into the lineup again. He played his first game the other day and dropped 33 points in 24 minutes.
Oh, that's crazy.
With them, I'm going to have them as the best team throughout the year.
Yeah.
As long as they got all their players fit and healthy, they're still my team, regardless of what their record says at the moment. That they're 7-5.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with them as the best team in the league as long as everyone's healthy.
Definitely. Like I said, with Paul George coming back, how will he gel with Kawhi? And as a defensive team, I think
they're going to work pretty well together, to be honest. I don't think that they've got that ego to try and be like, this is my team. I think they're going to try and work together and try and bring about that synergy and cohesion. And I think it's going to work wonders. I think once they get that all going and working, they're going to be almost unbeatable.
I agree with you on that. How about your surprise team so far? Who's your surprise team?
A surprise packet so far has got to be the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
I think come the start of the year, most people would have had them towards the bottom of the West and one of the worst records in the league again, as they have for the last few years. But they've found something. Aaron Baines,
he's playing well.
A free agency pickup, and he's dropping threes for fun.
Yeah.
And you look at Saric, he's found a bit of form as well. He's been a bit of a merry-go-round the last few years at Philly and then Minnesota, but he looks like he's putting in, giving good contributions.
You got Booker always putting up big numbers.
Booker's just a superstar. He's going to be one of the top players in the league for the next 5 to 10 years.
I definitely agree with you.
And then you've got Ricky Rubio, who's 4th in assists in the whole league.
That's pretty big.
He's taken his game to another level. He's gone on he was MVP in the World Cup, and he's just taken the next step, and he's bringing that into the year this year. Yeah. And once they integrate Ayton back into the lineup as well, it's going to be scary.
I think they have a chance for the 8th, 7th.
They're definitely right in there, in the mix with the Sacramento Kings, of course.
You and your Kings, mate. You gotta always.
They're coming back.
Yeah, they're coming back.
They're making their run.
Yeah, definitely.
What about your surprise packet?
For me, it is the Boston Celtics. I think everyone thought once Kyrie left, they wouldn't fulfill the potential they had a few seasons ago with Tatum as a rookie and all those high draft picks. They thought, will they get Davis? Will they make a big trade? But ever since Kyrie left, I think the team's just evolved into something special.
It has, before Hayward's injury as well.
Yep.
He was almost back at his all-star.
It's not a serious
level.
Serious injury.
I think it's a 6-week potential.
So not a 6-month one, which is
exactly. So he'll be back. He'll be back around Christmas time or just after.
So 10-1, the best record in the league.
And they've won 10 games straight. So they lost the first game to Philly to start the year, and then they've just gone on 10. I think I heard that it was Kemba's first ever 10 or 9 game winning streak. It was at that stage, and now it's a 10 game winning streak. And
the Hornets are actually lighting up the league, but I think for me the main differences between this season and last season is Kemba Walker. He's everything Kyrie isn't, which is a leader, and he's a leader. And I definitely think
it's all about team chemistry, isn't it?
They've got that chemistry happening. It's something that they didn't have last season, which was very toxic.
As a player, you'd argue that Kyrie's the better player, but it doesn't always work out. Putting a similar player into a lineup on individual ability, it's more who can bring the team together.
It's all chemistry and how they gel and mix. And so far they're playing well. I mean, fantastic. I don't think anyone predicted them to get off to such a strong start, 10-1. But so for me, Boston is the surprise.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Biggest surprise so far.
So we're moving from biggest surprise to biggest disappointment. So who's disappointed you the most so far this year?
It is the New York Knickerbockers.
Is this stemming all the way from not being able to land a big free
That's the thing.
or is it the actual performance throughout the year?
You know what, Stelios? In June,
both?
yeah, it's both. In June, I remember seeing like photos, the photoshopped photos, obviously of Anthony Davis, Zion, and Kyrie,
Durant,
and all. They had the big dreams.
And they landed Taj Gibson, Bobby Portis, Julius Randle.
Yeah, it's not exactly the big three, so to speak. But, they bottom of the East with a 3-9 record. And will Fizdale get fired? It's looking like he's going to go. I don't think he'll last the season.
Is it really his fault if they're not able to land big free agency signings and if the players that they've brought in aren't really to the caliber to be competing competing for the playoff spot? Is it really the coach's fault?
No, it's not the coach's fault, but every franchise needs a scapegoat.
Of course.
And for the Knicks, it's the coach. It's Fizdale right now.
Is that a bit of a poison chalice? Would anyone actually
coach? Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Does anyone want to play for the Knicks? I mean, you don't see them getting any marquee free agents.
Well, the one they had, Porzingis, wanted out.
Yep.
So it doesn't.
But he wasn't a free agent. He came from the draft.
Of course.
But
he was their superstar.
I know what you're saying. 100%.
He was their superstar player.
100%.
He was their franchise player.
Yeah.
And he obviously didn't like what was going on down the franchise, and he wanted out. So
well, it's like Boston was last season, toxic, but it's toxic in New York for the past 10, 15 years. Another thing, will RJ Barrett, will he live up to his star potential? I mean, he's playing well. He has
showed signs.
It's
only 10 games into the season, but
will he be the saviour of the Knicks?
Well, they've got to hope that, don't they?
They've got to hope that.
They don't really have much else to
Can they turn it around? We'll see. But for me, they are my biggest disappointment. What about you?
I'm going to go with the Golden State Warriors. So, the last 3 or 4 years, they've been the best team in the league and currently have the worst record in the league. They're sitting at 2-11 currently. Obviously, there's circumstances surrounding that as well. They're missing Steph, but if you're going to say from the start of the year where you would have thought them to be, you wouldn't have them as being bottom, worst record in the comp to date. So that's why I'm going to have them as my biggest disappointment so far.
Yep.
But okay, let me throw up a proposition to you.
Go ahead, mate.
So there's been a lot of talk about trading D'Angelo Russell.
Yep.
Come either mid-season or end of year.
Yep.
D'Angelo Russell's 23. He was an all-star last year for Brooklyn. Maybe we're looking at the wrong player to trade.
What are you implying?
Okay, I'll prep you for this. Should the Golden State Warriors be trading Steph Curry?
What?
At the end of the year.
Stop.
Just give me. That is
ridiculous.
Just have a listen. He's turning 32 in March. He's very injury prone. As we can, obviously it's unfortunate that he's broken his left hand. And that's the type of injury you can't control. But going forward, how many good years does he really have left in him? And not only that, what sort of trade value are you going to get back in return? You can get the number 1 pick. If you have Steph Curry on the trade table, you can get the number 1 pick in the draft, potentially the number 2 draft pick as well if they finish bottom with the worst record in the league and they happen to get the lottery pick with the number 1 draft. They can potentially have number 1, number 2 pick and potentially another player asset. Have D'Angelo Russell as their franchise player going forward with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson surrounding that, and they can pick up a couple other assets around that. Going forward, looking forward into the future, is that not a more... wouldn't that be a better proposition going forward and keep... Well, obviously, it's very tough to give away any franchise player, but you've seen... If we have a look at a precedent, so the Grizzlies did it with Conley last year. Conley was their franchise player. They got rid of him.
You can't compare Conley and Curry.
Of course.
They're a different class.
There is a different. I'm just using it as an example.
Franchise player.
And now Grizzlies have gone and got Ja Morant, as the next big thing.
Yeah, we'll get onto him a bit later.
Who's going to carry the franchise forward? What are your initial thoughts on that? You seem a little bit in shock. Like, I know it's going to come as a bit of a shock.
I mean, Steph Curry, hands down the greatest shooter the game has ever seen. He's an NBA legend, Golden State legend.
Yeah.
It's like saying to me, trade Michael Jordan in 1997. It's just ludicrous.
Have we
just
moved on?
The fan base would riot.
It's a proposition. It's not.
I
saying
like
it's gonna
how
happen.
you think D'Angelo's 10 years younger, 9 years younger, 8 years younger, whatever he is.
And currently this year, I think he's averaging.
You want to look forward, but
D'Angelo's averaging 25, 4 and 7 this year.
You don't trade your franchise player.
But if you can get him
a legend, he's an NBA legend.
He is. But you can potentially have the number 1 and number 2 pick in the draft this year, and then throw Klay Thompson around that, D'Angelo, Draymond Green. Isn't that a superstar team going forward for the next five, or potentially if the number 1 and 2 pick are that good, who knows where this team could go?
That comment is just as bad as Michael Jordan saying Steph Curry isn't a Hall of Famer yet. I mean, I don't know what to say right now, but guys, if you agree with Stelios, if you agree with me, comment down below your thoughts. I want to read what you guys have to say and think about this issue because I think it's compelling. I mean, you want to go for the younger player who has potential, who's living up to his potential, but you can't trade away your franchise.
32, injury prone, and you can get incredible trade value in return.
His body, he doesn't play like a Russell Westbrook where he throws his body on the line when he drives to the lane and dunks and everything. He's just a shooter. He can shoot until 40.
He still misses how many games a season? Ankles. And obviously he has this year's injury. You can't rule into that because it's
it was a freak injury. But look, I could see where you're coming from, but I would never even put that trade on the table.
It's just a thought. I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm throwing out a...
Guys, leave your comments below what you think about this trade proposal. Let's talk about Rookie of the Year so far.
So I had...
Who is your Rookie of the Year so far?
So I predicted Zion to be Rookie of the Year.
You got to play it to be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Yes.
And he hasn't played it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I had Zion. Currently, he hasn't gone on the court yet. So, as it stands now, I've got to go with Ja Morant.
Ooh.
I think you predicted.
I do predict that.
Start of the year.
I was high on him from the start.
You were. I just think he's a freak.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some of his highlights packages are unreal. He's done.
He's silky.
His handles. Yeah. He's got a bit of that Kyrie handle-esque. He can throw an ferocious dunk.
And he's fearless too. I mean, you see him.
He's happy to take shots. He's happy to.
His game with a shot where he made, and he's not scared of the big moment, and that's something you look for and you want in a franchise caliber player.
Yeah.
So I think what Memphis is doing, fantastic, laying down the foundations. I could see them, sneaking into the playoffs. If not this season, then definitely next season.
Yeah.
With the development of both Jaren Jackson, and Ja. JJ, as we like to say, for me, he's the Rookie of the Year too. But we'll see when Zion comes back. If he comes back,
it's going to be tough for Zion as well because
he's missed a
lot. He's going to miss
another.
Yeah,
he's not coming back anytime soon.
And then you'd think they'd manage him from when he comes back.
Yeah.
And then that could be like 20, 30 games before he's
It's hard to catch up.
It's going to be tough for him if he's missing such an extended period of time for him to really chew into that. But who knows? He might just throw those freakish performances he did in the preseason and then bring himself right back into
because he was playing crazy in the preseason. And just
also note as well, Kobe White from Chicago, who dropped 7 3-pointers in the last quarter in one of his matches the other day. 7 3-pointers in a quarter.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both agree on that.
So let's move on to who is your MVP right now?
I think me and you are going to differ on this one.
You reckon?
Yes.
Who have you got?
I got James Harden.
You can't really dispute.
Yes, you can't.
Can you? His numbers for the first few games so far are 39, 6, and 8.
Yes. And the Rockets, pretty good record.
Got a very good record.
9-3.
I think they're second in the West. So
I mean, what he's doing is averaging.
Very tough to argue against.
It's just averaging crazy numbers, and it's something the league hasn't seen before. In terms of season after season after season.
His consistency year after year after year, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, if the season ended right now, I would choose Harden as the MVP. What about you?
It's very tough to argue against that, but I'm going to.
Of course you are.
I'm gonna stick with Giannis.
I can't argue that either.
For me, it's pretty much
51-49, yeah.
50.1 to 49.9. It is that close because both of them, team success is there for both. And Giannis's numbers as well: 31 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists for the year so far. He's only second behind Andre Drummond for rebounds. He's improved his points from last year. He's improved his assists from last year. Every single year, and he's getting a block or two and a steal or two a game as well. And throw in his defensive impact. Milwaukee, they got an 8-3 record.
Yeah.
And the only thing the tiebreaker for me is the fact that Milwaukee and Houston have already played, and Giannis got the better of Harden on that occasion. So that I'm just clutching at straws here. Yeah. It is line ball for who is MVP between those two at the moment. And then you've got LeBron, he's in third at the moment. I think
he's not doing the crazy numbers that Giannis and Harden.
There's a massive gap between these three and
1 and 2, and then 3 down there. Yeah,
and the rest of the field out of the ballpark. But LeBron also needs a mention for his incredible start and the Lakers' incredible start to the season as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we'll come back next month to see how the second month of the season's going. But we'll be back in a few weeks, giving you the latest NBA news. Stelios, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me once again.
It's always a pleasure to have you. Where can we find you?
We'll have our details down below. Put it down below.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on Instagram at D.U.S _sports on Instagram. And me on Instagram, Christopher Spreezy. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I can't believe we're already 1 month into the season. Looking forward to the rest of the year ahead.
Before you know it, it'll be the All-Star break and then the playoffs. It just creeps up on you slowly. So guys, we'll see you in a few weeks and take care.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.